This kind of thinking ruins relationships. Hey, I am Chuck the bureaucrat, and there's this New Yorker magazine cover from the 1970s that shows New York drawn in high detail, while the Midwest and the West Coast, they're just kind of crudely drawn. And this image captures a natural human inclination to think of our own world as complex and nuanced, while things that are far away, they're simple and boring, not really worth your time. This same thinking can influence your work in the bureaucracy, and if you're not careful, it can poison your relationships and alliances. I boil all this down to 3 conceited ideas that feel perfectly natural, but are destructive if you give them voice. My job is hard. Your job is easy. My job is important. Your job is not. I could do your job better than you, and you couldn't do my job at all. I mean, it's pretty clear you shouldn't say things like that, but you also shouldn't be surprised that a lot of people think that way. So what do? Well, number 1, it is far more important to control your own behavior than try to influence everybody else. In fact, if you want all those other people to respect the challenges of your position, you're going to have some respect for their challenges. And so the trick to overcoming these conceited ideas is to go out there and see the world from other people's perspective. When I got my first job as a colonel, I was in charge of this office that built a large segment of the president's budget request for one particular Army command. Of course, their headquarters was far away from the Pentagon, and their command was focused more on the problems of the day than some kind of vague budgetary future. So, an unhealthy tension had started to build. And when I showed up, my general was very clear: fix the relationship. Which is kind of a tall order for a guy whose defining qualities are a PhD in statistics and a fondness for regulation. So what I did is I went down to their headquarters to participate in some of the meetings that they had with my staff. I sat right beside the GS-15 I was going to be dealing with, and I watched what things looked like from their perspective. Plenty of times, what he and I would do is we'd just mute the VTC, and I'd talk about what my staff really meant, and he'd talk about what his command was actually interested in. It wasn't easy. It took time and effort, and to be honest, there were issues that we were never going to be able to overcome. But looking at yourself and your organization through the eyes of somebody who has to deal with you helps you realize that other people have hard jobs. They deal with important issues, and fact of the matter is, they're doing a good job. Now, go watch this video to see how getting out and interacting with people separates the good bureaucrats from the others.